Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Pralanissima, 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 Jaya Pralanissima. Haribol, 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 Nitai Gora, Haribol. Prabhupada ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Canto 3, Chapter 26, Text 38, and the chapter is entitled The Fundamental Principles of Material Nature. Vayoscha spasatan matrat Rupam diveritat abud Samutitam tatastejas Chakshu rupo palambanam Vayoscha spasatan matra Rupam diveritat abud Samutitam tatastejas Chakshu rupo palambanam Vayoscha spasatan matran Rupam diveritat abud Samutitam tatastejas Chakshu rupo palambanam Rupam diveritat abud Samutitam tatastejas Chakshu rupo palambanam. Where von Vaishnavi who wants to chant the verse? Vayoscha spashatan matrat Rupam diveritat abud Samutitam tatastejas Chakshu rupa palambanam. Okay. Vayo from air. Cha and Spasa tanmatrat, which evolves from the subtle element touch. Rupam, form. Daiva iritat, according to destiny. Abut, evolved. Samutitam, arose. Tataha, from that. Tejaha, fire. Chakshuhu, sense of sight. Rupa, color and form. Upalambanam, perceiving. Translation. By interactions of the air and the sensations of touch, one receives different forms according to destiny. By evolution of such forms, there is fire and the eye sees different forms and color. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Because of destiny, the touch sensation, the interaction of air, and the situation of the mind, which is produced of the ethereal element, one receives a body according to his previous activities. Needless to say, a living entity transmigrates from one form to another. His form changes according to destiny and by the arrangement of a superior authority which controls the interaction of air and the mental situation. Form is the combination of different types of sense perception. Predestined activities are the plans of the mental situation and the interaction of air. Amakyanti mirandasya kyananjana shalakaya Shakshun militam yina tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so I kindly ask for your blessing so I can say something meaningful, inspiring, and encouraging. There are different levels on which we can hear. If we just hear on the level of the senses, that means that we are aware that there is some sound. By the way, does everyone understand English? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So, the level of the senses, that means we acknowledge there is some sound. Okay? Maybe we're not really listening to what the speaker is saying, but somewhere in the background, there is some kind of sound. So that's the level of the senses. Then the level of the mind is that we kind of like, we're listening, but we are kind of like maybe analyzing what is being said. We are kind of like, how do I feel about that? You know, thinking, feeling, desiring. And then we can hear on the level of intelligence. Level of intelligence, we don't want to confuse that with the level of the mind where we just analyze something and then we accept it or reject it. Oh yeah, that was a good point, but I think it's different, or I'm not so sure about it. Intelligence means that we are in an attitude of eagerness to hear, and that hearing actually changes our behavior. So hearing on the level of intelligence means that there will be realization, there will be change in our behavior. So it is said, you can judge a person's intelligence by their behavior and by the way they speak. And then of course there's another level, the level of Ananda, the transcendental level. When we hear on this level, then the knowledge directly goes to our heart. So this is probably Parikshit Maharaj when he was hearing Bhagavatam. He had only 7 days left to live, so he was very, very eager to listen. There was an urgency to hear transcendental knowledge. And that means definitely it has to be on the level of Vijnan, of intelligence, of buddhi. And then if we are really in the mood of service and we really want to see Krishna in what we're hearing, then we are elevated even further to the level of the soul, of Shuddha Sattva, of Ananda. So in that way, Prabhupada makes a very, very beautiful statement here in this purport, and I want to read it again because it's quite far out. He says that predestined activities are the plans of the mental situation and the interaction of air. So what does that mean? So predestined activities are kind of like our manifested karma. And the plans of the mental situation and the interaction of air is our inner situation. Yeah, how the senses and the mind and the intelligence and the ego are interacting with each other. So Prabhupada says that our karma, our experiences in our environment are a result of our internal mentality. Okay? So many times we think, okay, karma means that tomorrow I'm going to get hit by a car, or this will happen, or that will happen. That's true. That's also there. However, how karma is really manifested is by our internal state. Prabhupada, there was once a disciple of Prabhupada who was in the kitchen and he cut his thumb. And he then went to Prabhupada and he asked, okay, Prabhupada, I was cooking for Krishna, I'm doing devotional service. Why did I cut my finger? And Prabhupada said, well, actually, your neck was supposed to be cut. Now it's just your finger. So we understand that when we develop higher states of consciousness, our karma will also manifest on more subtle levels. We don't need the intense cross experience anymore to get the lessons. Why is there karma? Why do we, kind of like sometimes have to suffer or go through certain situations? For a spiritual person, for a devotee, it's just all opportunities to develop pure love. There are no obstacles. Queen Kunti is praying for the calamities to come again and again and again. Because for a devotee, it's like super exciting. Wow, here's another opportunity to kind of become the person I want to be, a servant of the Lord. So for a material person, everything that happens in their life is either good or bad. Helps me for my sense enjoyment, or it's going against my sense enjoyment. For a devotee, everything that happens to us is an opportunity to get closer to Krishna. Oh, that person was not reacting in the way I wanted them to. Amazing. Now I can develop tolerance. Oh, that person was criticizing me. Amazing. Now an opportunity to become humble. Things are not going my way. Okay, how can I see the Lord in this? So especially in the temple where there's a lot of activity and there's some intensity and 30, 40 people are living in one community together, there's going to be purification. Just like Kurmadev was grinding and the nectar came out. So when we're together, we're kind of like a mortar and a stone coming together. And we're getting purified until the bliss of the soul comes out. Yeah, so actually the temple is also under, most of the time, under the influence of the planet Saturn, which really kind of forces us to learn the lessons we have to learn. And of course our mind can come in, I don't like this, I don't like that, let me go to this temple or that temple, or let me do this thing or that thing. And sometimes we have to situate ourselves properly. And ultimately it's about learning the important life lessons. And that is all karma is. Especially for devotee. For devotee, everything that happens is directly connected to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's how we want to see it. And of course, sometimes in our movement things have happened that are very unfortunate. And then we see the Lord in a way that we understand, wow, how intense material energy can be, how degraded it can make someone. And we, of course, act according to it. Again, it doesn't mean that we just tolerate everything that happens. We do take the necessary steps should there be any abuse or any, such kind of behavior. Okay, good. So, therefore, when we are in a temple, or even when we are outside of the temple, it doesn't matter where we are when we are devotees, we have to understand what is most important. What is going to help us to develop Krishna consciousness, and what is going to help us to just stay stuck in this world. And there are 5 different stages of consciousness that Prabhupada talks about in the Krishna book in chapter 87. The 5 koshas, which are, any one of you knows them maybe? And? Yeah, so it's Annamai, it's Pranamai, it's Manamai, sometimes it's mentioned Jnanamai, Vijnanamai, and Anandamai. So these are like different kind of like stages of consciousness, but also described as different bodies. And this is very nice because you might think, okay, I'm a devotee, so Vijnan, Ananda, is somewhere there I must be. But actually, let's look at this a little bit carefully. And Prabhupada, it's quite amazing because I was researching these 5 stages, and then, everyone has something to say about it. Of course, I was, mainly looking at devotees, but then also what have some, other yogis to say about this. However, Prabhupada really, he just uses 1 or 2 words and he really summarizes it so nicely. So Prabhupada mentions that the state of Annamai, the first state of consciousness, is kind of like the survival state where we just consider to kind of like fill our belly, So if you're right now sitting in class and you're just thinking about prasadam, ekadashi prasadam, so maybe, this is kind of like a state that you can relate to. So it's really mainly concerned with like filling my belly, surviving. It's the animal state. An animal is kind of like, what is an animal concerned with? To fill the belly, to mate, and then to kind of like be alert for some enemy. So it is tamagun. However, there is some kind of rajagun as well. It's not like the depth of tamagun, because I was actually thinking this morning, sometimes human beings can even become lower than animals. Like we have goats in front of our house, and sometimes I observe them. And actually, if you look at them, they're fulfilling their dharma. They're eating, and then, in springtime, when it's time for mating, then the male goat, he goes a little bit crazy, like all day he's running around, just thinking about mating. And, but otherwise he's quite peaceful, trying to eat. Sometimes he's proving himself, if he's still the boss, so he's fighting some younger goats. But overall, it's quite okay. There's some structure, there's some harmony. Jai, Nishing Hadith Ki Jai. Wow, he's very beautifully dressed today. So by human beings, we can really go to the depth of tamagun. Like we can really go really, really down, especially through intoxications and drugs. We can really go to the depth of tamagun, where we're not functioning anymore, where we don't even take care to eat and to survive and to drink. We can completely neglect ourselves. And you don't see usually animals, who have a depression or something like that. Depression is a serious issue. I don't want to undermine that. I'm just saying, animals are just doing their thing. So that is the Annamai stage. And is very much connected to the senses. We're just pulled from the senses in one direction or the other. And maybe if you look at yourself and your life, maybe you notice that there are moments in your life, hopefully just moments, where you're also just pulled by your senses and instincts in certain directions. Someone comes to you, Prabhu, why are you doing that? Okay, now I have to defend myself. And we get angry. Okay, we're acting out of instinct. So then, the other stage, pranamai. Of course, there's a lot of stuff to say about prana and the different kinds of prana in our body. Advaita Simha is not here. He has probably a lot to say about that. Prabhupada actually mentions the 5 different pranas as well in Bhagavad Gita 4.27. Anyway, so this is the state, Prabhupada writes, it's kind of the state of where we're trying to defend. So it's a little bit higher. It's related to the emotions already. It's related to, Prabhupada mentions, it's the state where we realize if I'm alive, if I'm taken care of, I'm happy. So it's really a state where we're trying to make the best possible arrangement for ourselves. So we kind of like can enjoy and live nicely. So an animal does have that maybe to some extent, but not really, because they're just pulled by their instincts and their survival mode. So that stage is a little bit higher. We want to feel happy. Realize when I'm alive, when my health is good, when when I'm in a nice situation, then I'm happy. So it's kind of Rajagun, but there's still some Tama. Yeah, we're trying to defend what we have. We're trying to build something up, maybe a nice home, a nice situation for ourselves. We're trying to understand what is the best possible way for me to enjoy with my senses. But it doesn't really go yet to the state of mana, where I'm trying to analyze the situation or start to differentiate myself from my thoughts and emotions. I'm still very much controlled by all of that. Again, you'll find different explanations for these stages. However, that's my understanding of what Prabhupada is saying here. And then the next stage is kind of manamai. And Prabhupada says these first three stages, that's basically where human civilization is. Okay? Anamai, pranamai, manamai. So, manamai refers, of course, to the mind. And of course, the second stage is also a stage where we're, really acting out of emotions, becoming more aware of it. But on that stage, we really start mental speculation also. So we start to understand, okay, so, scientists are mainly on this level also. Okay, how did this earth come about? Okay, maybe there was a big explosion. Where did it come from? It doesn't really matter. There was just an explosion somehow out of nothing. And then everything kind of manifested by itself. Huge mental speculation, of course. Or we're trying to have different philosophies. Nietzsche said there's a meaning in nothing. It's just like nothing has any sense. Nothing has any meaning. He was quite a depressed person, I believe. We make different philosophies, different understandings. However, and this is the very important point, remember in the beginning we were talking about hearing on the level of the mind and hearing on the level of intelligence. So the mind is like, yeah, that makes sense. Let me analyze that. And here's some more information, and I accept that information, and that information I don't accept because I don't like it so much. So we're analyzing, but it doesn't really change our behavior. For example, in India, you have some people, they know maybe almost the entire Bhagavatam, they know all the verses, all the explanations, but it's manamai. There's no realization. When you're on the level of intelligence, it means you change your behavior. It means you go to a person, smoking is bad because of this and this reason, the next day he stops smoking. It means he has a strong intelligence. Have you ever noticed you explain something to someone, and they're like, yes, okay, yeah, I understand. Maybe Basha, you have experienced this. You explain a service to someone, and they're like, yes, of course, they have to do this and that. And then they do it, and Basha comes, oh my God, what did you do? No. That means, the person was, it happens to all of us, if that happened to someone else, but it means it was like on the level of the mind. Yeah? And we actually, most of us, we on the level of the mind. It's like modes of nature are controlling us, Then we in the mode of passion, and we want to do so many things, we want to achieve so many things, we want to achieve a status, a position, the biggest preacher in the world. Then we're in the mode of ignorance, and everyone has a problem with me, and this place is not nice, and I'm the victim of the situation. Oh no, how is this going to work out? And then we are in the mode of goodness. Hopefully, we're in the mode of goodness. We are more aware. We are present. We're in the state of gratitude and appreciation. We want to develop those qualities mentioned in Bhagavatam. So anyway, on the stage of Manamai, we're just controlled by the modes of nature, and we're creating different philosophies. Also, devotees like to do that. This is what we like to do as devotees. Like, Prabhupada said this in 1975, and Prabhupada said in 1972, and Prabhupada said in 1980. Well, he was not alive anymore at this point. Oh yeah, right. So, we kind of make up our own philosophies and we engage in discussions. That is better than maybe not having any discussions. But the way hearing was happening in those Vedic times was, and this is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, Tat vidi pranipatina pariprashnena sevaya upadekshantite kyanam kyaninas tatvadashina. I believe that's the verse. We go to the spiritual master, to the self-realized soul, in a state of humility and submissiveness. That's the state of intelligence. I'm not saying, anyway, that means I don't know anything. The person I'm receiving knowledge from, my teacher, my guru, he has the knowledge. I'm in this humble mood. Then knowledge can really come. Then there can really be transformation. If you're already I know already everything. I've read Prabhupada's books. I went to many classes. I know about this. It's not going to go to our heart. It's not even going to the level of the intelligence. Okay, so these are the three stages where most human civilization is. Now, the next stage, coming from Manamai, where we are controlled by our emotions and desires and all kinds of things. We go to Vijnanmai. That means now we really, really inquire into the difference between matter and spirit, matter and transcendence. So that's actually really the state of goodness. Sometimes we say, oh yeah, this scientist, this philosopher is in the mode of goodness, because he's very, very knowledgeable. Not necessarily. Maybe there is some sattva, but in the evening he's still drinking wine, eating meat, and so how can that be sattva? It's not sattva. So Vijnan, and this is, I'm going to make this more relevant. It means we really start to understand what's the difference between transcendence and matter. We really start to understand what is a devotee and what is not a devotee. How can I really serve the Lord and how can I not really serve the Lord? I'm going to tell you a beautiful pastime where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu makes it crystal clear what he's looking for in a devotee and what he's not looking for. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was doing these kirtans in the house secretly. And he said, no one who has a tinge of material desire is allowed to enter my kirtans. So, I don't know, would you have felt confident to go inside to the kirtan? I wouldn't have felt so confident. And then they would have these kirtans in the night, ecstatic kirtans. They would go crazy in ecstasy. But no one was allowed to enter. And there was this, brahmachari, very austere brahmachari. He would not even eat rice. He would just drink a little bit of milk and eat some fruit sometimes, but mainly just drink milk. And every day he would come to Srinivasacharya. Every day he would ask him, please, let me come to the kirtan. I really want to see Mahaprabhu dancing. I really want to see him. And Srinivasacharya was like, he saw the attitude of that brahmachari, and he thought, well, he doesn't have any material desire. He's living so austere, perfect celibacy, just drinking milk every day. But the Lord said, I can't let anyone in. But the brahmachari kept coming every day and again and again and again. And this is a nice lesson, so because he'll receive so much mercy in the end. But we have to endeavor again and again. We have to go in front of the altar and say, my Lord, I know I have no qualification, but I cannot go on for even one more day without your love. Not even one more day. So he had that eagerness. And he was going to Srinivasacharya to ask him to let him in. And then finally, Srinivasacharya, he had this amazing idea. Okay, you come in the room, you come in, but we're going to hide you so the Lord doesn't see you. I mean, think about that. So it's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then you tell a person you hide yourself. I mean, he's the heart, he's the super soul in every living being. So you see how Yoga Maya is covering everyone in the pastimes of the Lord. So he says, okay, you come in, you hide yourself tonight, and then you can see the kirtan of the Lord. And then the brahmachari was, of course, very, very happy. So he came inside, and then, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing, Advaita Acharya was dancing, everyone was dancing. What's that? Oh, okay, it's a phone, not my phone, luckily. So anyway, so they were dancing in ecstasy and chanting Haribol, Haribol, and everyone was immersed. And suddenly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like, wait a minute, I don't feel any ecstasy. What is going on here? Is there someone in this room? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I mean, if he becomes angry, imagine, he's Narasimhadev, so when he becomes angry, I think then you really start shivering. And then Srinivasacharya was, oh no, oh my God, what am I going to do now? And then Srinivasacharya said, well, there's no atheist in this room. There's no atheist in this room. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was getting even angrier. And then Srinivasacharya was, okay. There's this one brahmachari. But my Lord, you have to listen to me. He's very austere, perfect celibacy. He's just drinking milk every day. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu got even more angry. What? Get this milk drinker out of here. Who do you think I am? I don't accept someone just because they're performing austerities. What about Gajendra? What about Hanuman and the monkey army? Were they performing perfect austerities? You can never, ever conquer me by austerities, with your intelligence, only by surrender and humility. Get him out of here. So the brahmachari, he was in a state of fear. He was just getting out. And at the same time, he was thinking, wow, this is amazing. The Lord just chastised me. And at least I got to see the Lord in his beautiful dancing. How fortunate am I? I got chastised. I got criticized, but I deserved it. I made an offense. He was not thinking, I'm not sure if that's Supreme Personality of Godhead. I thought Vishnu is most tolerant. Why is he getting disturbed when I'm just in the room? No, he was having this attitude. And immediately, because the Lord is in the heart of every living being, he was calling him back and embracing him. He was saying, that's exactly the attitude. This is how you can conquer my heart, with that humility, with that humble attitude. Okay? So, very, very significant pastime. And we see that again and again, that, the Lord may chastise his devotees sometimes. The Lord sometimes may appear angry, but ultimately it's always for the benefit of the devotee, and it's always, in this pastime. So this is the stage of Vijnanmaya, where we really start to understand, what does it really mean to be a devotee? What does it really mean to advance in spiritual life? And not just do we understand it on the stage of Vijnanmaya, we actually will start to make changes. We'll change our behavior, especially towards other devotees. We'll start to have tolerance. We'll start to have humility. How can I serve you? We understand that Krishna consciousness, it's not Krishna activity, Krishna consciousness is the servant of the servant of the servant. And then we start endeavoring in that way. So that's where the personal transformation happens. That's the stage where Anata Nivritti really manifests and we become more and more purified. And then we come to the stage of Anandamaya. Ananda means bliss, the bliss body. And Prabhupada writes in Krishna book, both the Brahman and the Supreme Brahman, the soul and the Lord, their natures to be joyful. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma in Bhagavad Gita. When one achieves the stage of Brahman, I'm the soul, experiences that, that means we are in joy, we are in bliss, we constantly feel it in our heart, we actually perceive the soul. Krishna says that's when devotional service starts. Of course, already our devotional service has started, but it's quite a high definition. Because what he's saying, actually, on that level do we really start to experience our relationship with the Lord. Before, it's a lot dependent on faith and some realizations, but on the Brahma-Bhuta stage, the rasa manifests. That's when we go beyond Nishta. So the stage of Anandamaya is the stage of Nishta. We are liberated. And then Ruchi, Ashakti, Bhava, Prema, these higher stages manifest. So, and of course, so when you're on the stage of Ananda, when you're on the state of Nishta, it's said in the beginning it's all running up a hill. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes in, I think it was Chaitanya Shikshamrita, he writes that until the state of Nishta, we really have to endeavor. We really have to show some determination to overcome our mind. Because it's just going to track us left and right and up and down. But then when we're on the stage of Nishta, then it's like going down a hill. Why is that so? Any ideas? Why is it suddenly become so easy on Nishta? Yeah? The mind is the friend and? Okay, yeah, the mind has become the friend. Okay, anything else? Any other? There's no struggle with anarthas. Okay. Anything else? See, this is all true. However, what is also happening is you actually experience a taste. On the states of course you can experience taste before, but then on Nishta onwards, that's when the taste really becomes more constant and permanent. Do you understand? So it's like before we constantly have to control our mind. We constantly have to keep our anarthas in check. But then on these higher stages, we experience Krishna in our heart. We can feel him. We can feel that we are the soul. So then, every action that we do, we want to do them naturally in alignment of Krishna consciousness. Because as soon as we start to act not in Krishna consciousness, that connection, that experience is not going to be there. So it's very, like in the beginning when we're non-devotees, we're very naturally engaging in sense enjoyment. We just, this smells good. Okay, let me go there and eat that. This looks beautiful. I like this person. Let me have a relationship. This could give me some fame. We just follow our senses. So then our transcendental senses, our soul, our ananda manifests, and then we naturally follow that. Like you rightly said, the anarthas are gone to 75%. That means the anartha of tamagun and rajagun, they're basically gone. There has to be some karma left. Otherwise we don't have a body. Something has to be there, but it's mainly purified. So therefore, in our spiritual life, it is so important that Krishna consciousness becomes a real experience. When does religion become fanaticism? When there is no real experience of God. Then we start to be, no. My religion is the best religion. Your religion it's nonsense. Sometimes we as devotees are even like that. But when we really actually experience God, then, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, when I see a person has steady faith, I make it strong. So we as devotees, we also want to encourage others. Of course, it's not that when we meet a Christian, we just talk about Jesus. We want to present it in a way that is natural for them. So because when you really have God realization, you're not going to be disturbed. You can see Krishna in everything, in every religion, manifested everywhere. Because you have a direct experience of the Lord. But when you don't have a direct experience, when you're just following something because of fanaticism and blind faith, Prabhupada said even if you have blind faith in the right thing, it's good. However, at some point, it has to become experience. Vijnan, intelligence, means experience. This is what Krishna consciousness is about. And it's not that only someone like Srila Prabhupada or, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually said in the past time, even if someone is a Chandala, like dog eater, even him I will embrace him if he has these qualities. So even if we're not pure yet, even if we have so many desires, even if we have so many anarthas, it doesn't matter. We just have to go to the Lord with a humble heart. My Lord, I am unqualified. Look at this. Today I'm so disturbed by envy. Look at this. I'm so angry today. Or I'm full of lust, or whatever it is. We go to the Lord in this humble state. But when He sees that we are honest with ourselves, that we are humble in our attitude, and we go in front of Him, then all the mercy will come. Yeah, and then He will give us some taste for the chanting. Then He will give us this beautiful experience in Kirtan that we've all had, right? We've all had that. This is why we hopefully became devotees, right? We came here and then we experienced something different. Something was here that we hadn't really tasted, experienced before, that had us to believe that I want to really make a strong commitment here. So therefore, when we are practicing Krishna consciousness, we have to keep reminding ourselves of these emotional stages, what I mean higher emotional stages that we had in our Krishna consciousness, where we experienced gratitude, where we experienced joy, where we really had a connection with Krishna. And every day we have to sit down, and because the mind can recreate any experience, also a spiritual experience, and bring this experience up. Every day we want to become aware of how much Krishna loves me. Every day. Because therefore Prabhupada said, we have to chant the holy name like a mother is, like a child is crying out for its mother. So because there is some emotion connected there. If we are just chanting mechanically, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, 16 rounds done, okay. Now I don't have to deal with it until tomorrow. Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, thousands of lifetimes you can chant like that. You think Krishna is going to be very impressed by that? If someone is calling you like that, Krishna's like, oh, okay, yeah, at least he's trying, okay. Sure, there's going to be some mercy. Any chanting is better than no chanting, okay? Really, any chanting is better than no. Although, I believe Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj, I'm not really sure if it was him, but some sannyasis said, actually, when we are chanting and we contemplate material desires, actually, it increases the material desires. Because Krishna watches us when we are chanting. Because it's like, in one sense, the Maha Mantra is like, I want to engage in your service. I want to have a loving relationship with you. That's what we're saying. And then when we're thinking, oh, I want to enjoy, I want to be famous, I want to have this position, I want to become the biggest, this and that. Krishna's like, oh, okay. Well, if you want that, then let me give you some experience of that. But he says, Prabhupada said there has to be some emotional attitude there, because that's what really allows us to also go deeper in our subconscious. When we fill our heart with gratitude, Krishna, I'm so grateful to you for everything that you have given to me. Krishna, I'm so grateful that I can be here with the devotees and live in the temple. Krishna, I'm so grateful and I really need you. I can't be without that love. I can't be without the ecstasy of the soul. I need that. I can't live another day without it. If we chant in that attitude, in Kirtan and in our japa, then the Lord reciprocates very, very quickly. And then, yes, we'll still have some anarthas, but the Lord will take them away. Because, see the level of manamai that I just described, it's in science you could say these are alpha brainwaves. It's here. There's not much change. It's like, again, let's take the example of smoking. You go to a doctor and the doctor says, yes, smoking is bad for you. Here, look at the lungs. doesn't look good. You will have cancer soon if you don't stop smoking. Oh yeah, I should stop smoking. It's not good for me. But then we can't change. Why is change so difficult, even for devotees? Why do we keep doing the same things again and again and again? It's because it doesn't really go deep. It doesn't really reach our subconscious mind. And our subconscious mind is reached when we connect it to sattvic emotions, like gratitude, like appreciation. That's when we can have real transformation. Humility, tolerance. So if we don't stop when we practice Krishna consciousness during our day and really reflect deeply and let all of this touch our heart, let the kirtan touch our heart, let the service touch our heart. When we serve the Lord, what is our state of consciousness? Because we can be here and just clean the floor like a person is cleaning the floor in a restaurant. Oh, it's the daily stuff I have to do so I get something to eat and a place to sleep. Or we can feel that we are in Goloka Vrindavan, preparing, the floor for Radha and Krishna to come to perform their pastimes. I'm not saying I'm in that consciousness. I'm saying there are different ways of how we can relate to this. And this is what we have to be very, very aware of in the temple. And outside even more. But otherwise we live in the temple and we do our services here, and then after some years we're feeling a bit grumpy and not satisfied, and the temple, the institution didn't take care of me, and now I want to get married or change my life, and no one really understands me, and then, we go, we leave, and then Hare Krishna. So let's try to make this as meaningful as possible. Let's try to remind each other. Let's try to see each other as brothers and sisters and not as enemies. Let's try to understand even the person that is constantly a pain in the, I'm not going to say it to me, ultimately he's my well-wisher, because he will help me to understand that, how much I'm still away from Krishna. Because let's say we get disturbed, I'm going to end the lecture also soon. Was it 2 days ago? I was meant to be the devotee. The devotee was meant to help me with something. What happened? The devotee didn't show up. I was trying to call him, couldn't call him. I was trying to find him, couldn't find him. In my opinion, it was really important. So then the mind comes in. Now I can't do this, now I have to do that tomorrow, now I have to arrange this other thing, and what am I going to do? And then slowly some kind of anger starts to manifest. I knew it, why can't he get it right? And as soon as we go down that train, what happens? We say, yes, I'm the body, yes, I'm a man, I'm a woman, yes, I want to be identified with the false ego, yes, I want to take birth again, please, please, yes. That's what we're saying. And then I start to correct my attitude. No. This is not the way I want to go. This is not the identification I want to have. I want to become a servant. I want to identify of being a servant. I want to be in gratitude, because that's basically the sattvic emotion. And there is going to be some emotion that we have to experience. And then we have to really correct that attitude immediately when it comes up. And try to go deeper. Otherwise, meditation means changing our personality. Actually, every day when we sit down for japa, ideally, we're a different person afterwards. It's not always like that for me. But at least we want to understand this. Japa is not some mechanical, okay, Srila Prabhupada, for the last 40 years I was chanting 60 rounds, where's my ticket to Goloka Vrindavan? Huh? Where's my ticket? It's not working like that. Either you experience Goloka Vrindavan and then you will go to Goloka Vrindavan, or you will experience, the lower 3 stages I described, and then you come back again and again and again and again. You will go, and this is what Prabhupada mentions in this purport, according to your state of consciousness in the end of the lifetime. So japa means changing our personality, changing who we are, letting go of, he's my friend, she's my enemy. I like this person, I don't like that person. I like, this, I don't like that. It's all on a material level. So now I spoke these things, and once I heard Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj, one time someone asked him, Maharaj, when we give a class, should we only speak about, what is our realization? No, of course, I'm sharing things with you where I believe, some kind of minor something is there. However, still, when we give class, we have to speak the truth. We have to speak according to what we understand is perfection, is the highest state of Krishna consciousness. So this is what I was trying to do. I think I'm going to end here because, I think that's enough for today. I'll see if there are any questions. And again, maybe one more thing. Therefore, we have to watch out for offenses. Offenses to other devotees, making other devotees feel hurt, is our short ticket back to the material world. Because Krishna really, really doesn't like it. Mahaprabhu said, if you want to come back to me, don't criticize anyone and chant the holy name. Because when we start to criticize, we again engaging in sankalpa vikalpa, accepting, rejection, I like and I don't like. Unless we are an authority, unless we are a senior devotee, and we have to engage in that, correcting others. Otherwise, Trinada Pisu Nishina. Okay. Are there any questions, comments, feedback, realizations? Yeah, please, Prabhu.
Thank you very much for this class. Around 44 years ago, I was in a school related to my apprenticeship I was in. And there was one teacher. He said, learning means changing of habits. I never forget that. And until now.
Wow.
All the other stuff I've forgotten, but this I remember. And I try to do it still.
Wow, what an amazing teacher. Quite rare. Yeah, so Prabhu, if someone just didn't hear it online, Prabhu just said he had a teacher who said, learning means changing habits, right? Very beautiful quote. I mean, I didn't have such a teacher in my school. Yeah, definitely. Okay. Oh, Hare Krishna. Didn't even see you. You were there.
Hiding here, painting the Shingadev. Yeah, this is very important topic, especially on this idea of first accepting that maybe some habit has come in that we need to change. Could you give some examples of how the next process? So we have Mikhail's teacher's words in mind, changing this habit.
How do we change a habit?
How do we change that habit practically?
Wow, I mean,
this I know you coach. So.
This is such a huge topic. But just to summarize it again, changing habits has to happen on a subconscious level. If we just try to change on on this mental level, change is not going to manifest. It has to go really, really, really deep. It has to really touch the heart for there to be some change. And of course, this is a topic. I mean, I'm studying this a lot at the moment. Actually, this is what I almost do every day. I'm studying how you change a habit, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur says in Chaitanya Shiksha Amrita that we have to really endeavor, but we have to also expect the mercy of the Lord. So we understand also that by our own endeavor we can't do anything. We need the mercy of the Lord. So the mercy of the Lord, really going to deeper stages of consciousness. But then there's also a third thing, which I just wanted to say: surrender, state of consciousness, mercy, lesson. We have to learn the lesson that is connected to that habit. We have to understand, what is the emotion connected to the habit, the bad habit that I have, and what is the lesson that I meant to learn. from my experience, Narasimhadev, like the Lord doesn't take away something from someone until we've learned the lesson. But yeah, so many things to say, but again, it's learning the lesson, going to a deeper state, being in the mood of surrender, surrendering ourselves to the Lord, and having a higher emotional experience of something greater, like gratitude, joy, bliss, something higher. There's a lot to say about it. Prabhu, you also had your hand up. I mean, you wanted to comment on this?
Yes.
Okay.
I can say something, but I will speak in Croatian.
Okay, but Prabhu also wanted to let him Prabhu just, and then we pass on to you.
So for me, changing habits was first I had to realize that it is a habit I really don't need. It's like a really bad thing. And secondary, I was really coming to a point where I really want to get rid of it.
Right. Yeah, this is very important.
And also to understand that by my own effort, it's hardly impossible to do that. So that was the point when I was just laying before Krishna and asking for help.
Right.
And then I had to accept what was coming also. This was the way I was going through these things.
Yes, this is very, very important. There needs to be like a very strong desire in our heart to deeply, deeply want to change. If that's not there, then forget about all the other things. Yeah, very true. Yeah. You also wanted to say something.
When we come on that level, when we have the strong desire to change ourselves, then should we endeavor, actively endeavor to on this change.
Yeah.
There are several ways how to change ourselves, and one of these ways is our practical experience. When we made some mistake, then we should remember the way we did that mistake, and next time be careful not to do the same again. So this is one way how to learn from our experience. Another way is to learn from experience of other devotees, especially advanced devotees. And that's why it is stress on association of devotees, especially those who are very pure. When we see how they react when they are corrected by someone else, that's very inspiring for us when we see how they react in such cases. And the conclusion is that this change will happen when we are surrounded by devotees, not just. We need mercy of the Lord, but even more we need mercy of the devotees.
Yeah, very beautiful point. Things coming together here. This is like also, this is said, it's one way of changing the intelligence is really by associating with elevated and very pure souls. But then what is very, very important is you need to have the right attitude. If you don't have the right attitude, you can be next to a pure devotee. Still, why is he doing that? What? No benefit. But a very beautiful point. I mean, Now we have so many things. There's so much to say about this, but this is certainly very important. Like I summarize it again. So we have like, if we make some order, we have like really becoming, first of all, aware it's a habit, it's bad, I want to change it. Then really developing an urgency, like I can't live another day with that bad habit. Then being in the association of those who already have changed that habit, who are in higher states of consciousness. Then also understanding that although I act like it depends on me, I understand that without the mercy of the Lord, nothing will change. So we fully surrender to the Lord, but at the same time, we do our best, you know. And then we also really, this is the other thing, repetition. We constantly have to repeat to our mind on a deeper level the new, you know, identity we want to have, the new person we want to become. Therefore, there's so much repetition. Every morning, Mangala Arati, the same prayers, the same. Prabhupada was speaking about the same thing. You're the soul, you're not the body. Because this is how the knowledge gets deeper and deeper and deeper. If it comes in again and again, just like when there's a drop of water on a rock, again and again. After some time, it will change even a stone. So, but yeah, it's a very fascinating topic. There's a lot to say about it. Okay, Gopi Gita, you want to say something? You're also mentoring and counseling others. You want to share some realization? And then we can end the class. Yeah, the mic has to be turned on. I'll just summarize what you say.
One of the things that I remember my lecture from Swami Swami is just a small point that he said habits take 21 days. It's been shown to take 21 days to change. So sometimes it's very hard for someone to say, okay, I will not criticize somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
Okay, it's the journey here now. For 21 days, I will try this. So this is much easier somehow for the mind to take it on. I will take this and see. Even if some days I'm not convinced. You know, like it could be I'm going to Mangalat. You wake up and you're like, no, I need to sleep. It's not going to work. No. Okay, no, come on, I said. I'll just do this for 21 days. It's not the rest of my life, for example. And then it goes in this motion. So it's not that deep realization is completely there.
Mm.
And the idea was at that moment that you thought, no, I have to change this, is very, very powerful. But in daily life, the Tamagood, Raj, everything comes, it's just to keep going in this one, what's the word? It's almost like a conversation with the mind. Keep it going, keep it going,
Yeah.
keep it going.
Mm.
No, I don't want to keep it going. Until at the point it doesn't become much more easy.
Right. Yes, this is very, very beautiful, important point. So Gopi Gita was just saying that it takes time to make a change, and it's good to make like some kind of sankalpa to say, okay, we take a certain amount, like 21 days you were mentioning, to change a habit, and we just tell our mind, okay, now for 21 days, I'm going to change this habit, like going to Mangala Arti, and we're doing our best. And here's what's very important, and I've seen this so many times with devotees. Actually, I've seen devotees really struggle and suffer, not because of their bad habits, but because of what they're telling themselves with the bad habit. Like, oh, I can't do this, I'm not worthy to be a devotee, and they feel guilt, and they go to Tamagun. Like the habit, that's one thing. Okay, you didn't get up early, or you didn't do this, or you didn't follow that. Not that, okay, let's make a philosophy out of it, but okay, but you're doing your best. But what happens a lot is the chatter of the mind afterwards. Oh, you're worthless, you can't do this, oh my God, you're so fallen and it will never work out, it will never change, look, everyone is changing. And it takes us to Tamagun. And then it's much, much worse than it has been. So we have to acknowledge that we'll not become a pure devotee overnight, but we keep going, Nothing will ever change our enthusiasm and determination to keep going. And if it takes 1 month, 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, we keep enthusiastically engaging. Because if we do that, it's that verse from Lord Brahma. If someone, I don't know the Sanskrit now, even the English, but it's basically if one tolerates, life and the miseries of life and just keeps engaging in the service of the Lord, then liberation has become their rightful claim. So even if we're not perfect, and this is such a beautiful point you made, we do our best and we stay enthusiastic and we have full confidence that the Lord will take that anartha away. And if we engage in that way, then we'll see there will be many positive changes. Wow, every one of you is such an expert in these things. We made now so many amazing points. Very nice. Anything else before I think we actually, let's end the class because there's breakfast. Srila Prabhupada ki, Vanshakal Patarupyascha, Kripasunubhya Evacha, Patitanam.